Judge I know, RC, whoa, whoa. These are the things I see right in front of me. As I open my eyes to
Hello,
where
fight
the
fans.
sunlight
George Hanson, the
dwells.
Pope of Pugilism. I have a great one for you tonight. I have with me the man, the myth, the legend himself, all the way from Las Vegas, Nevada, Jazzy Jeff Mayweather. How you doing, Jeff?
I'm good. I'm good. Thanks for having me on.
Man, it's always a pleasure, man, and I want to thank you again. You helped me out a couple months ago at my job with our wellness day. You came
Yeah.
on, you did a boxing workout along with Bozy Ennis and my man Jerron Boots Ennis. It was a pleasure having you.
Likewise.
And we're just going to talk some boxing, man. You are one of the Mayweather brothers, legendary. You, Uncle Roger, and Floyd Sr. I mean, I've been watching you guys for a long time. How was it growing up as a Mayweather with your older brother Floyd? And there's a 11 and a half year disparity. How was it growing up with Big Floyd?
Well, I mean, to me, it was like Floyd was kind of like a city hero.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, because when he was boxing, it was like, it was always packed. The arena was packed. Mm-hmm. Everybody came out, and and I mean, he always gave a great show. And so it was kind of like, I remember when I was in the amateurs, mm-hmm. and I was in the nationals with Roy Jones. I had heard about him. Never knew who he was or anything, but this is my first time getting a chance to actually see this guy. Mm-hmm. And basically, I looked at him when he was fighting, and I called my coach over here, and I said, "Hey," I said, "this guy right here, that guy in the ring right now, he's different." I said, mm-hmm. We are all champions to get here, but no, he's different, mm-hmm. And that's kind of like how Floyd was as as an amateur in Michigan. Mm-hmm. I mean, everybody just would, it was almost like an event whenever he fought.
Whenever your big brother fought.
Yeah.
Everybody, but it must be different, man, that's a huge age gap, 11 and a half years. So you truly were a little brother.
Yeah. Definitely. But yes. I mean, but still we were always close. I mean, of course, me and Roger was almost inseparable.
Right.
I mean, the reason why I'm here in Vegas today is because of Roger. I mean,
the Black Mamba.
Yeah, I followed him almost anywhere there was to follow him. Whether it was right, whether it was wrong. I mean, I just wanted to be with my brother. So, and that's what happened. I mean, and because right after I graduated from college, I was getting ready to, start working in my field.
Right.
And so it's funny. I tell this story every time, but my mom, I would tell my mom I would dress up every day in a suit and go downtown and eat. Mm-hmm. I was supposed to be looking for a job. But this is what happened. I kept getting calls from Roger. I mean, nonstop. I would get calls from him, and he would basically say, "When you gonna come down here?" I said, "Come down here for what?" I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I never cared about boxing, but I was a person that I wasn't going to embarrass myself, so I did work hard. And so, like I said, I didn't want to, but here it is. I mean, I've been involved in boxing now for probably about 40 years.
Man, and Jeff, you have a degree in graphic arts?
Yeah, graphic arts, right.
Yes. Man. And you end up turning pro. Roger is almost 3 years older. You end up turning pro. You win the IBO junior lightweight title. And then you follow in the footsteps of both brothers. You became a trainer.
Yeah. I mean, and it's funny how I became a trainer because I never wanted to be a trainer. It's like I never wanted to be a boxer. But sometimes things just happen. I mean, you're sometimes, you don't even know your own course. And basically, and it's kind of like, my course of where I am now was kind of like created through my brothers, and through the sport of boxing, because like far as being a trainer, what ended up happening was I had my very first fighter I had was named David Sample, and I took him to he fought for a world title, and once I got him to fight for a world title, I said, well, I'm here now. But
you're here.
Yeah, because that felt like I had arrived because I had actually took a guy that he was just like my friend, but I used to go to his fights, and when I go to his fights, I used to always tell him what to do. And so I was the only person he was listening to. And so he said, Jeff, why don't you train me? I said, man, I never trained nobody, he said, well, you know what you're talking about when I'm in the ring. So I said, okay, I'll give it a try. And because in the beginning, when I first came out to Vegas, I was the one who actually got Floyd Jr. signed with Top Rank. And, and basically when at that time, Floyd Sr. was incarcerated. So I became the manager,
Okay.
And so basically I felt that at that point, I'm in a position to, to do something great, but at the same time, it still didn't feel like I was doing enough. And so when my friend asked me to actually train him, I only thought about it for a short time, and I said, yeah. And of course, like I said, I took him to fight for a world title. Unfortunately, he didn't win, but that let me know the level, my level of knowledge of boxing. That I took a guy that, from just being a friend to a world title, and he was a guy that he didn't have no big time management or anything like that. He was a guy who earned his way.
Fought his way up.
Yeah.
Take me back to October 11th, 1996. There's a young man with the last name Mayweather facing Roberto Apodaca. Floyd, Pretty Boy Mayweather.
Oh, okay,
Professional debut. I look in the corner, and there is the legend himself, Uncle Roger. I look over, and there is Jazzy Jeff in the corner of Floyd, Pretty Boy Mayweather.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. It's kind of funny how things work with that. Because Bob Arum actually mentioned Floyd. Because Floyd, everybody was trying to grab Floyd. He had different guys trying to grab him. But by this time, I had already moved to Vegas, and I was, doing my own thing. And then Roger was here, and so basically, I had to talk Floyd Jr. into coming out here, and see what was available for him, because I reached out to Top Rank, and I basically, I was fortunate enough they agreed with a lot of stuff that I was asking of them, and so of course, things didn't work out, completely the way it should have with Top Rank, but I mean, Top Rank did a great job with Floyd as well. And basically, he got the same exact contract as Oscar did, even though it was the same, but it was the same for a guy that won a bronze medal as a guy winning a gold medal.
Okay.
But still, you know, and don't get me wrong, and I mean, of course, we all know that Floyd basically, he kind of knew himself more than anybody else did. And basically, he didn't feel the need to be an undercard fighter, you know, on Oscar's cards. And so that's where everything started to fall apart, you know, in terms of, you know, his agreement with Top Rank. But they still did a great job for him, got him to the world title and everything. So, I mean, they did their job with him.
It's amazing, man, when you go back, Jeff. He won a world title in about 5 days or 7 days before his second year anniversary as a professional fighter. This 18th fight.
Well, I mean, don't get me wrong. You know what's funny? Him and Roger almost did the exact same thing in the exact same weight class. Roger did the same thing, you know, and but at least, you know, with Floyd, he had the fanfare, he had the following because he was an Olympian.
Right.
Roger had no following, you know, but he still achieved the exact same thing. You know, in about the same time frame.
Let me ask this question, and I've seen numerous interviews, and someone asked, Floyd's the greatest. When did you guys know he was really this good? And you said the entire family knew this a long time ago, that he was going to be great.
Yep. I mean, the thing was this. First, of course, his dad preached. And he preached to anybody and everybody that my son's going to be the greatest fighter that ever put on a pair of gloves. You know, that's what he said. That's what he believed. And, you know, in the eyes of a lot of people, that's exactly what happened. But, of course, our whole entire family knew that no one in my family is surprised of anything that Floyd has achieved. You know, I mean, of course, maybe the money that he made, possibly, but when it talks about him stepping in that ring, he did exactly what everybody in my family thought he was going to do. That he wasn't going to never lose, and that, you know, and he actually, you know, was pretty much going to be a guy that, you know, pretty much dominated anybody that got in the ring with him. That's what we thought. And I mean, basically anyone in, you know, in ear's reach, you know, that was being spoken to him. You know, I mean, I remember one time when I came out here, and that's when I brought Floyd, when Floyd first came here, you know, I was telling, hold on 1 second.
No problem.
1 second. Yeah, doing a podcast though. Sorry about that. I'm back.
Jeff, no problem. This live TV. I thought you were about to say Floyd's at the door.
No. But I don't know. I just lost my train of thought. Where was I at?
Where were you at? The Olympics.
Oh, okay.
You talking about Floyd in the Olympics? Yeah,
and I mean, and like I said, everyone in my family thought that, you know, what he's accomplished, that's exactly what he was supposed to accomplish. Not, you know, there's a lot of people that, and like I said, no, I was saying that I had a friend of mine that I was telling about my nephew, and I was telling him how good he's gonna be, and this and that, and so on and so forth. Of course, he thought I was like, yeah, okay, that's your nephew. But here it is now, 20 years later, exactly what I told his ass a long time ago happened.
You know, I have to tell you something that's amazing. I've never lost betting on a Floyd Mayweather fight.
Yes,
I've never lost.
that much is true.
I've always picked Floyd. I'll be honest, I've
Well, you
always
had
picked Floyd to win. Never
yeah,
lost on a Mayweather
you had
fight.
guaranteed money. Nope,
Guaranteed. I've
sure
never
didn't.
lost. So kudos to Floyd. I've never lost on the Floyd Mayweather fight.
Right.
We look at Uncle Roger, man, and I love Roger Mayweather. You see the shirt.
Right, definitely.
One of my fighters came out to Vegas years ago, ended up in the Mayweather gym, young guy Hassan from Philadelphia. And I said, you got to get me a shirt. So I've had this shirt so long, so I wear it. So I'm wearing it tonight in honor of Uncle Roger, one of my favorite, man. I couldn't wait to see his interviews and his antics as far as a boxing historian and the questions he would ask. How was it growing up with Roger?
It was, put it this way, it was fun. It was challenging. It was a whole lot of different things because let me tell you one story. Me and him, because we were playing football. We were playing rocket football at this time.
Okay.
And so Roger got about 6 of us, right? And we were all a little younger than him. And so we went to this store, this sporting goods store, right? And so Roger, he said, we went in the store and he put everybody in a position, right? And he gave me a bat. And he said, hold that bat on that guy right there. Now we're probably we're no older than 11 or 12 years old, right? And we robbed this.
A store?
Yeah.
Ooh, I got to check the statute of limitation on robbery. They probably come back after you.
No, I mean, of course, when I look back, it's hilarious, you know. And I mean, he would do things like that, you know. And then there was another time where basically we went into like this community center that we used to go there and play basketball all the time. And so, and I guess he got somebody that was working in there, and they left the top open for him to come in. So we snuck in there one night. He took all the money from the popcorn machine.
You're an accomplice to a robbery. I don't know the statute of limitations on that.
I know I'm gonna get 50. I'm gonna get 50 years. I keep talking. I better shut up.
And we got Jeff. We got a new coach for the prison boxing team, Jazzy Jeff Mayweather.
Yeah, but don't get me wrong. So I mean, those are the type of stories that, of course, I look back and I treasure. Even though they were wrong, because I mean, the thing is this, is that I was always a good guy. But when I was with Roger, I was whatever he wanted me to be because I wanted to be around him. Mm-hmm. You know, and so, I mean, being that he's my big brother, well, my older brother, I mean, whatever he said do, I did. And
I have to ask this one because this is so memorable. The Zab Judah fight. Uncle Roger came out of retirement and was in the middle of the battle when Zab fouled Floyd.
Well, I mean, the one thing is this, and I think this is true in all families, that I can talk about you, but you can't. No outsider can talk about nobody in your family.
Right.
Whether you think that person is an asshole or a fool or whatever you may think they are, that's within the family. But but when it comes to, the fact of, you trying to do something to my family,
Mm-hmm.
that's what Roger did. He stepped in because he felt that what Dad Judah did was absolutely wrong, and it was.
Mm-hmm. I got to give it to him. Uncle Roger, man, hey, he was the best, man. I just love his interviews. He was just brutally honest. Now let's
Yeah.
transition. Your nephew, Floyd, he was
Mm-hmm.
voted Fighter of the Decade, 2010, 11. I believe he is won by the Boxing Writers Association of America, Fighter of the Year 3 times. He's won numerous awards from ESPN. Now, what's intriguing to me is that Floyd Sr. and Roger Mayweather, despite training arguably one of the greatest fighters ever, definitely Floyd is there. They have never won Trainer of the Year. Freddie Roach has garnered that distinction 7 times. But
Right.
Floyd Sr. and Roger, I don't see their name on that award.
I mean,
Help
don't
me
get
to
me wrong.
understand.
I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. How can you have a guy that beat your guy and you still get Trainer of the Year? I mean, that's ridiculous, but I mean, obviously that just goes to there's politics, and there's basically, you're not judging it off of achievements. You must be judging it off of something else. I mean, whoever liked it, it must be personal, because there's no way you can have a guy that's actually in history, probably one of the best fighters in the history of boxing, and the people that trained him have no awards to show that.
That's true. And what's amazing to me, fathers get the credit. Tiger Woods' dad did a remarkable job, made him the greatest golfer ever. The Williams sisters, their father, tennis. But somehow Floyd Sr. doesn't get the credit he deserves. He
Well,
is basically made one of the greatest fighters ever.
yeah, that's true. But you know what? One thing you gotta realize is this: you ain't really gotta give Floyd those accolades, because he gonna give them to himself anyway. He already told everybody. He the greatest trainer in the world. So whether he got an award for it or not, everybody already knew it.
Yeah, but to us in the boxing public, right? We hear people talk, even fighters. Floyd is great, his defense is great, and it's like people, Johnny Carter, former bantamweight contender from Philadelphia, he said he remember going into the gym and seeing Floyd running around at 2 years old with a pair of boxing gloves, following his dad. So what I'm saying, Jeff, is somebody taught him.
Oh,
His
definitely.
dad taught him. He didn't just learn boxing magically.
True. Well, I mean, not only that, I mean, and I mean, the one thing is this, like I said, the reason why Floyd, of course, at the end of the day, of course, it looks like, he made it. And when he made it, it's like you never know who's behind the reason why he made it. But it's not just his dad. It's not just me. It's not just, it's my mother, my nieces, my sisters. Every single person in my family supported Floyd in every way possible. So I mean, he had a village, behind him and behind his success. And and I mean, and of course, no one would ever know that. No one would, ever say that, wow, he was supported by my niece, because I mean, but everybody did their part, and I mean, and they paved the way to help him get to where he was.
That's true. And, I was doing a little research and I heard that Floyd's mom's father, Floyd's grandfather on his mom's side, is Jamaican. So everybody in Jamaica would say the reason Floyd is such a great fighter had nothing to do with his dad, is because he's Jamaican.
Yeah, I think his granddad taught him everything.
we think it's genetics, Jeff. He's that great while he's Jamaican. You know, we had to find a way to claim Floyd.
Oh yeah, definitely.
We already got Lennox Lewis. Both his parents are Jamaican. So the British and the Canadians, we have already claimed him.
Who else? Who else y'all got?
Errol Spence.
His
Errol Spence too? Jamaican.
Oh my God, I didn't know that.
Oh, I laid claim to him a long time ago. So we want Spence to wear the Jamaican flag. Hey, he's from Texas, but he's Jamaican. We got a whole bunch. Lloyd Hunnigan. The list goes on and on and on.
I like it.
Now, talk to me about Floyd Senior. You know I'm a subscriber to the Mayweather channel. and I love watching the interviews with Floyd Senior and you. And one thing I realized watching that over the past couple of years is that Floyd Senior is good at everything. I mean, I didn't know he was such a great singer, a great dancer. And I believe if you put him in a fighter jet, he'll be the greatest fighter jet pilot ever.
Wait a second. I didn't know he was the greatest singer. I didn't know he was the greatest
dancer. I mean, based on the channel, Floyd Senior is the greatest singer ever.
Okay. Let me tell you something about Floyd. Floyd is probably the most competitive guy on this planet, especially at his age. Now, if somebody comes in that gym and does, say somebody come in the gym, could be somebody 20 years old, 30 years old, whatever, and they get on that pull-up bar and they do 50. He finna do 60. He gonna jump on there, right? Because he seen him do it and everybody was looking, he gonna do it and he gonna do more. And that's how he is in almost everything, anything that, I don't care what it is. That's just like me and him, we always have speed contests. Who got the fastest hands. We've done that multiple times. And I beat him probably about 8 out of the 10 times we did it, but he ain't never gonna say I beat him. But don't get me wrong. And the one thing is that me and Floyd is very, very close. I mean, it's because I looked up to him. I looked up to him in terms of being the foundation of all of us, especially when it came to boxing, because he was the first one to do it.
Right.
And so, and I'm the one person I think in my family that knows how to get, Floyd riled up, or, I'm talking about riled up in a funny way, what I mean? And I bring out the best in him, I think.
So you're saying that Floyd's not a great singer? I've heard Floyd and I closed my eyes and I thought it was Marvin Gaye. I looked up, it was Floyd Senior.
You thought it was Marvin. You thought it was Marvin Gaye, but he was singing James Brown.
Oh man! And then you guys had a dancing contest once, and Floyd is there. Oh boy!
He won that too.
Oh, he won that. You're right.
But no. He didn't win, but he don't never lose. I don't care what we do, he don't lose.
Right. I see, man.
Wait a second. Now, if somebody tell him that he lost, we are going to be doing that same thing a million times until somebody say he won.
Man.
That's how competitive he is. You know, he's got to be the most competitive guy I ever seen in my life.
And you know, I don't blame him. Floyd Sr. doesn't want to, it keeps him young, keeps him active, and it's great for television, really. Because I'm subscribing to the channel just watching what he's going to do next.
Right.
Yep. Now let's talk about Floyd Money Mayweather is retired. He has made more money than any fighter on this planet, unless there's someone on Mars who made more money. Now he's about to engage in an exhibition with Logan Paul. Talk to me about that upcoming exhibition.
Well, I mean, the one thing is this. Floyd has become such a huge, huge commodity, you know, not just for himself, but for anybody that's involved with him. So anything that he does, everybody wants to be a part of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so being that everybody wants to be a part of it, why not do it? You know, and you know, you're talking about a guy that's making more money doing exhibitions than some of these world champions are that's fighting, you know, actual fights.
Than most
you
of
know,
these world champions.
Yeah. And basically, you know, me myself, I kind of hope that hopefully that this is maybe the last thing, you know, just because at some point Father Time catches up with you. I don't care who you are, and I don't care, at some point you're going to take a risk that's not going to go your way, you know. And I mean, he doesn't need the money, so he's not doing it for that, but he loves money so much he is doing it for that.
He's not fighting for free. That's why they call it prize fighting.
Right. And but you know, like I said, I mean, you know, that's the one thing that, you know, Floyd kind of created his own market with this exhibition stuff. And then next thing you know, everybody else is doing it now. Everybody's trying to do a money grab. I mean, with the Legends thing as well, you know, they're following suit. And you know, and basically, I mean, you know, until, you know, and I mean, I don't know if, you know, the one thing is this, is that Floyd still is more, I don't want to say, I don't know the right word. He's more, I ain't gonna say, put it more visible. He's more visible than all these fighters that are still fighting today. These guys that are world champions. And I mean, when Floyd steps into an arena, everybody is looking that way.
He's still relevant.
Yeah, he's
still
and
the
that's
most
the
relevant
thing
fighters today, even though he's retired.
Yeah, and I mean, and he, well, you know, he's one of the, I'll say one of the most relevant commodities of the sport.
Right.
You know, and I just think that, you know, of course, at some point, you know, the Logan Pauls and whoever else that comes next or whatever, you know, at some point, you know, it has to come to a halt, you know, because like I said, Father Time catches up with everyone, you know. But I mean, I think that this fight is going to be a huge, huge, huge event. And, you know, it's only going to be that, and it's going to be that because Floyd is involved mostly. And then secondly, because he's taking a risk against a guy that's, you know, almost outweighs him probably about by 50 or 60 pounds. You know, but what people don't realize is this: Floyd's fought guys just as big as Logan Paul in the gym.
Yep.
You know, and he beat the crap out of him. You know, but still, but what I would say is this, is that Logan Paul is not a legitimate fighter. These were legitimate fighters. So even for his age, that's not going to deter him, against Logan Paul. And plus, the one thing is that Floyd, he's almost never out of shape.
Right.
I mean, this been embedded in his mind when he was, probably like you said, 2 or 3 years old. He had no choice in what he was going to do.
Mm-hmm.
When he was born, his dad said, "My son is going to do this." And the one thing about something like that is when you start somebody young enough and you have them do it long enough, it becomes their passion. Not only becomes
it becomes instinctive, man. It's like breathing.
Yeah, and it becomes the one thing that they know more than anything else that they do in life. And so eventually they'll come back to that. And when they come back to it, they're gonna work even harder. And that's basically, what happened, with Floyd. And I mean, and of course, now you have a lot of people that are having their kids start at 5 and 6 years old and stuff like that, because of Floyd. But, and it's like, I was talking to a guy today and he was showing me videos of his son. He's like, "Oh, my son gonna be this, my son gonna be that." And I said, "I'm gonna keep it real with you." I said, "Let me show you something." I said, "Your son has passion for the sport." I said, "But he don't have no skills." I said, "He's throwing punches just like a 6-year-old that ain't never fought in his life."
Mm-hmm.
I said, and then he showed a tape of him training him. And I said, you training your son is the worst thing you could do.
Yeah.
Because you have no knowledge of boxing. And I said, one thing about boxing is this: boxing is monotonous. Either you're going to learn good habits or you're going to learn bad habits.
Yeah.
If you learn bad habits, I don't care if you start at 1 year old. If you learn nothing but bad habits, you're going to get your ass whooped. But
and it's going to be hard to correct.
Right. I mean, yeah, basically you're going to have somebody that's going to come along and have to, rearrange everything that you even started and that you did. But if you're being taught the right way, you're going to be successful.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, put it this way. There used to be a time, I mean, not now, but there used to be a time when white people were probably the only people that knew about going to school at 1 or 2 years old. We didn't know about that, so.
I think you went away.
Okay. At 1 year old, and your kid come to school. Our kids usually go to school at 5 or 6. So now this kid, that 1 year old, is 5 years ahead of your kid. Not saying that your kid can't catch up, but he's got a long way before he catches, and that's kind of the system, that's kind of the system, that basically was presented for Floyd, and I mean, and that's why you have guys. The most important thing is finding that passion, like I said, because you had Tiger Woods, same exact thing.
Yep.
The Williams sisters, same exact thing. And basically, because that becomes the one thing that, you can attach yourself to, and that's your form. You own it. When you step, that's just like when Floyd, when he steps in that ring, he owns it. He already knows what he's going to do. He's probably 5 moves ahead of the guy that's coming out the other corner.
I got to give it to him. And like I said earlier, people don't give Floyd Sr. the credit for teaching him. Right. Because he's really knowledgeable about boxing. If you go down and you break down his fights and you look at Floyd, some of the things he's doing, and what you have to love about him, if you listen to the tape from his first professional fight, this is what they say. Floyd Mayweather is a power puncher, right? If he hit you, he's going to knock you out. Now you look at Floyd when he was a wrecking machine, junior lightweight. Then as he's getting older, you notice that Floyd kind of changed his style.
Right.
He was knocking a lot of people out. He became smarter. He would pick you apart, hurt you, and just totally frustrate you.
Right.
He made a great transition.
Right. I mean, with age, and that's the thing, with age became wisdom, you know, and I mean, he has so much in his library that he could turn so many different pages and find something else different to do, where a whole lot of guys can't do that. They can't go look back in their archives and say, oh, this is what I should be doing, or this is what I should have done, or this is what, you know, but Floyd had that. I mean, if something wasn't working for Floyd, he would do something different. You know, and then if that wasn't working, he gonna do something different. You know, right. and that's the one reason why, you know, he was one of the, you know, most difficult fighters in the world to ever deal with, because I mean, he may come out jabbing, you know, and if he could, you know, find that he can land some big shots, he gonna do that. You know, and like I said, when he was at junior lightweight, I mean, he was a killer. You know, I mean, he was banging, he was knocking people out, you know, but like you said, as he got older, he got wiser, you know, and he knew exactly what he needed to do.
You're right. I see our director said we should be winding down soon. But Jeff, talk to me. How can they reach you? You're in Vegas. You're at the Mayweather gym. I was talking to Faison Love. I interviewed Faison, Big Worm from the movie Friday. He said, yeah, I'm at the Mayweather gym. I said, did you talk to Jeff? He said, oh, maybe he wasn't there that day. Like, Faison, you got to reach out to Jazzy Jeff Mayweather. But I know he's a comedian, and now he's doing boxing training. You're a boxer who should have been a comedian.
Yeah, I get that all the time. But yeah, I think that the gym is closed right now. Right. I mean, I'm actually at City Boxing Club at the moment. You know, hopefully Floyd and them gym will reopen soon, but I don't think that no gyms are really going to be opening once Biden get in the White House. Once Biden get in the White House, I think that stuff is going to be closed down for a long time before anything opens up. You know, so I mean, if anybody is looking to be trained or anything, you know, the time is now before, you know, it gets to that point where everything is closed down.
You're right. Well, this has been a good conversation, Jeff. Thank you. We're going to pick this up again another time. But, right. Man, I'm very appreciative, you know, just having the discussion. And it's good to know the brother of Uncle Roger, one of my heroes. You know, I can't read this on here. It says we don't know about boxing. but we miss him, man, in all those interviews. And hey,
we truly miss.
Been doing. Take care.
All right,
we'll pick this up. Thanks again. And
all right, thank you.
Much respect. Thank you.
All right. Give me some jerk chicken, please.
We're gonna give you some jerk chicken. Yeah, we gotta get you down. Last week before Chris wrap up, we gotta get you that. You know, Lennox Lewis has the League of Champions in Jamaica every summer. He's training kids. He built a facility down there. We gotta get you down here, man. So Lennox is watching. We gotta get Jeff down here. We gotta get Jeff some jerk chicken.
Okay.
Take care, Jeff. Thanks.
All right. Take care.
Giving thanks as the days goes by, giving thanks and praise.
As I puff on my Hindu and glance through my window, I realize there's no turning back. Got to complete life's journey, though things get contrary. Got to make it to the top. See, I'm searching for a way to survive. Working so hard, I know job will provide.